Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Steven. I love to talk about horror movies, and in today's episode, we're going to be talking about Scary Movie 6. As you guys know, I really enjoy horror movies, but I also really enjoy comedy movies, and whenever you put the two together, I generally have a good time. There are some over the years that I haven't cared for, like the last three Scary Movies. I didn't enjoy anything about those, but in general, like movies like Shaun of the Dead, Outworld's End, the first original two Scary Movies, there's a bunch. You can go on and on. These things have been spoofed and parodied over the years, and some of them can be really good. And I was really hoping, since comedy has kind of like died down over the years, it might be because of like political correctness or, just sensitivity and things like that. But a lot of the general comedy that you get from like the 90s and 2000s era has depleted. And I was really hoping that with the Wayans brothers coming back to this franchise, that there would be a resurgence of that kind of comedy, and it would be more hitting toward home of what I'm used to. Maybe it's the age that I was whenever I first originally watched the first two Scary Movies, and to be honest with you, I probably shouldn't have been watching them around the age that I was whenever I did watch them. I was probably between 12 and 13 whenever the first two came out, and I was watching them. I thought they were fantastic. I thought they were hilarious, and even going into my adulthood, I could rewatch them and find funny moments in them. And then, they kept going with it, 3, 4, and 5, and I didn't like anything that had to do with the last three movies. Outside of the Saw skit that they did with Dr. Phil and Shaq, I thought that was cool, but anything else along the way, I generally didn't care for. The first two Scary Movies were completely original, and they hit home run after home run with every single joke that they laid out. Most of the time, you could sit down and watch those movies and just genuinely just gut-busting laughter because it's stuff that hadn't been done before. Things that, nobody had thought of with the Wayans brothers there and the comedy that they do and stuff that they've been a part of for years leading up to that point. They were just original, and it was really nice, and it was just a breath of fresh air. And truly, I hoped and prayed with this being one of my most anticipated, not most anticipated, that's a stretch, one of my most anticipated films of this year. With the Wayans brothers returning, I really hoped that spark was going to come back, and I really hoped that breath of fresh air was going to be there with Scary Movie Reboot or 6 or whatever it is that we're calling this one. And it also didn't help that with the marketing campaign that they had leading up to this from 2024 until now, pretty much touched base that they were going to be making fun of every modern horror film of the day of age. They were going to insult Gen Z. They were going to take down everything that had to do with political awareness and correctness. They were going to just shots fired at everybody and everything possible that they could think of, and it was going to make everybody just hit the floor with laughter, and you were going to be just offended beyond belief. And those were the marketing campaigns that they marketed for Scary Movie 6. I think the original tagline was "Every single line will be crossed." But unfortunately, that didn't happen for me with Scary Movie 6. I genuinely didn't enjoy too much about this film. I will give you my likes and dislikes on this film a couple minutes from now, but I've had some shorts that I've made and some comments made in those shorts about how my opinion doesn't matter and how I should just get over it and things like this, and fuck you to those people. I don't care about what you have to say, because honestly, at the end of the day, if I didn't like this film, I didn't like this film. You can like this film. You're allowed to. Generally, go and have a good time with it. I, for one, did not have a good time with it, and I probably won't watch any more of these going forward. But you know what they say about opinions? They're like assholes. Everybody's got one, and most of them stink. Now let's jump into my what did I actually enjoy about this. What did I like? I generally enjoyed a couple things of this. There was a couple jokes that I enjoyed throughout this. The white chicks reference I thought was funny that had to do with the substance. I enjoyed that the plot line did actually carry through all the way till the end of the movie with basically making fun of the modern Scream franchise. I did enjoy that this also had a better Ghostface reveal than Scream 7. I will say that. That's a big mock-up for this film. And a couple other things that I enjoyed was just the fact that the original cast was back and some of the stuff that they did. It was kind of nostalgic at times. It did bring back some good memories. I did enjoy that there was a lot of modern horror films referenced during this movie, and they didn't cycle back around to stuff they've already done, aside from Scream, obviously. But most of the movie did generalize around like modern horror spoofs. But on the direct flip side of that, I am going to contradict myself a little bit here. But even though they did carry through with the Scream franchise for the main plot, it didn't really make any sense whenever you got to the end. And I know it didn't need to, but generally it just kind of felt like it was all over the place. It jumped from like skit to skit to skit to skit without any type of like cohesiveness outside of the fact that they were mocking the Scream franchise again. And with that, a lot of the skits that they did for the modern horror films were just like quick one-takes and one-liners that really didn't hit home for anything. And unfortunately, I didn't really see anything new being done even with the modern horror films that were there. They had a ton of variety in different skits in modern horror, but did the same shit they've been doing for the last 40 years with the Wayans Brothers comedy. I was hoping for some more originality, or actually crossing the every line that they said they were going to cross, and offending people, and just kind of just no holds barred comedy that the Wayans Brothers do. And, you know, we just got dick and fart jokes, weed jokes, and racism jokes. And I had some people saying like, oh, well, that's what this is about. And that's cool. That's great. That's what I was expecting. But I was hoping that they would be a little bit more original. They would have something new along the way that they've come up with in 40 years or 25 years since they've done this franchise, and jump off the bandwagon of the same old they've been doing for the last 35 to 40 years. Especially whenever you market it the way that you market it, and you say that you're going to cross every line, everyone's going to be offended, no one's safe, and then you just come out of the box with a bunch of, oh shit, son! Or, oh, what up? And it's just a bunch of nostalgia bait again, just like the Scream franchise. It's just cycling back around to make money off of things that people will generally go to see, like we did, because it's from our age group. Then we want to hope that they would be doing something more and something different with this franchise. And then lastly, I didn't like the ending of this at all. I know I said that it had a better Ghostface reveal than Scream 7, but that's not really saying much, because Scream 7 sucked ass. But, you know, at the end of the film, I'm not going to give it away, the Ghostface reveal and all that. It just was fucking bland. It was just like cycling back around to cameo characters that have been used in the previous 3 scary movie films that the Wayans Brothers weren't a part of, and mocking the Gen Z folks a little bit and killing them off. And it's just like, okay. And then it just kind of ends. And you're like, all right, well, that was Scary Movie 6. And judging by the way this is hitting the marketing campaign and how good it's doing at the theaters, they will most likely make another one of these. It's probably the franchise that's going to go on for 10 to 12 films and just continue to recycle the same shit over and over again, because people will go and check it out. Myself, I will not be going to check one out in the movie theater, nor do I think I'm going to continue to watch this franchise going forward. Just simply because I honestly didn't have a good time with this one at all, and I was super anticipated to have a pretty decent time with it. And with that, I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5 stars. This is generally not a good time for me. I am actually upset at the fact that I paid money to go and watch this film, because I should have waited until it came out on VOD or out to rent or something like that. I encourage you to wait until this movie comes to video on demand, a streaming service. It'll probably come to Paramount, or, you know, on Prime, rent it. Don't go to the theater and spend a bunch of money to see this, unless like you're a die-hard Wayans Brothers fan. If you're a die-hard Wayans Brothers fan, sure, go check the fucking movie out. Other than that, if you're a Scary Movie fan and you're hoping for some better original content, you're not going to find it here. So wait until it comes to video on demand. Now that'll do it for this one for me, folks. I appreciate everything you guys do for the channel. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Check under your beds. And stay safe out there, everybody.